Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea: how one tiny, seemingly insignificant action can actually set off a massive chain reaction of positive change in your life.
You know the feeling, right? That big burst of motivation hits and you think, okay, that's it. Tomorrow, everything is different. And that big grand plan, it usually looks a little something like this.
First up, the alarm is set for some ungodly hour that barely even counts as morning.
Then, of course, you're going to hit the gym with a workout so intense it could turn you into a superhero overnight.
And on top of all that, you're also going to become a literary genius, all before most people have even had their first coffee.
And what's the result? Yeah, you know what happens. Total and complete burnout. This all-or-nothing strategy almost always ends up with, well, nothing. It's just too much, way too fast. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if the real secret to a huge transformation isn't about making one giant leap, but about taking one single tiny step? And that brings us to the main idea today, the keystone habit. And I want to be clear, this is not about punishing yourself. This is about being smart and strategic.
Just look at this image of a stone arch. It's the perfect way to understand this. You see that one stone right at the very top? That's the keystone. It's not the biggest stone, but it's the most important one. It's what holds the entire thing together.
Well, in our own lives, a keystone habit does the exact same thing. It's that one small, totally manageable habit that, once you lock it into place, starts this amazing chain reaction, improving other parts of your life without you even trying.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but let's take a look at how this actually works in the real world. We've got some pretty powerful examples.
So check out this story. Let's call him Utkarsh. His life is kind of messy, he's in debt, his health habits aren't great. He's asked to do just one tiny little thing: write down every single thing he buys. That's it. A few months go by, and not only are his finances getting better, but he's also stopped smoking and drinking. So what happened? Well, that simple act of tracking created self-awareness, and that awareness started to ripple out, creating discipline in totally different areas of his life.
And hey, this isn't just for turning your life around. It's also for reaching the absolute peak of what's possible. I mean, just look at Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history. His secret weapon, his non-negotiable keystone habit, was visualization. Every single morning, and right before every race, he would play this mental movie in his head of the perfect swim. And this is way more than just positive thinking. Scientists have actually found that when you vividly imagine doing something, you activate the same parts of your brain as when you're actually doing it. He was basically programming his body for victory with that one mental routine.
Okay, so you don't have to be an Olympian to use this stuff. Actually, some of the most powerful keystone habits are the ones that seem almost laughably simple. So let's bring it right back home.
Think about it. Making your bed is often the very first task you can actually complete in a day. It's a task with a clear beginning, middle, and end. And here's the cool psychology behind it. That one small act of order sends this powerful message to your brain. It's a tiny win. It's a little shot of accomplishment that makes you more likely to tackle the next thing and then the thing after that. That simple habit can literally start a chain reaction that leads to eating a healthier breakfast or having a more organized workday. It all starts with just pulling up the covers. So when you look at all these examples together, a really clear pattern starts to pop up, right? Whether we're talking about tracking money, world-class visualization, or just making your bed, the principle's exactly the same. One small, strategic habit creates momentum and kicks off this wave of positive results that can totally reshape your day and, over time, your entire life.
Okay, so this brings us to the big question.
How do you find and start your own keystone habit? Well, the secret is to make it so easy it's almost silly. Let's just compare the two approaches. The old way sounds like a command. I must do 30 push-ups. The resistance in your brain is super high, and it's so easy to skip it on a busy day. But the new way, it's an invitation. I will do just 2 push-ups. 2. The resistance is so low, it's actually harder to come up with an excuse than to just do them.
And that, right there, is the magic formula. You see, the initial goal isn't the workout itself. The goal is to build the habit of just showing up. And by making the tasks so small that you literally can't say no, you build the muscle of consistency. And once that habit is there, everything else follows.
So let's bring it all home. The big takeaway here is really about a fundamental shift in how we think about making changes in our lives. Real, lasting transformation doesn't come from some heroic, once-in-a-while burst of willpower. No, it comes from finding and consistently pushing on the smallest possible domino that will get everything else moving. And that leaves us with one final question for you. Forget about that huge plan to reinvent your entire life by tomorrow. What is the one ridiculously small, easy-to-win thing you can do today that might just start that chain reaction? What's your first domino?